Well folks, we just got another newsletter and trailer for Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. And while I usually just cover these on stream to chat with my community about, this news deserves a video, because especially as a Horizon player, there are some very exciting gameplay features here that I have been wanting in Horizon for a very long time. So this newsletter and the trailer that you're seeing in the background are focusing on a main theme: Solar Crown's competitive racing experience. There is a lot here, and it all sounds really good. So let's just go ahead and run through this newsletter together. Now, it starts off by talking about the rivalry between the two clans that players can join, the Streets or the Sharps. But right away, it says that you don't have to ally yourself with either of the two clans. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I actually don't think we knew about this yet. I had just assumed that the game would make you choose a clan to be in right near the start of the game, because so much of the gameplay seems to revolve around this clan rivalry. But this seems to imply that you can kind of be a free agent of sorts, and I'm really wondering if there's any sort of benefit to that. They do immediately follow by saying that helping either one of the clans will help you achieve your objectives faster and unlock exclusive clan rewards, so it seems obvious that they want players to pick a side, but then why give us the option not to? Maybe it is just for the sake of options, maybe as a light RP thing, or perhaps it lets those free agents participate in certain events for either clan. Either way, this kind of small throwaway line has kind of changed how I expect these clans to work. You know, I think the Horde versus Alliance dynamic could really work well here to give players good gameplay motivation to rise in the ranks of their own clan or take down their rival, but I think that only really works if it's not super easy to just swap sides back and forth and kind of keep a foot in both camps. At least not without some consequences. We do know that each headquarters has both a public and then private VIP area, so maybe we'll see that play in pretty heavily here. That aside though, moving forward we get some good info pertaining to how players can earn new cars, and they specifically mention exploring to find secret areas. I'm a huge nut for exploration in any game. I always love searching out maps for hidden collectibles or zones or Easter eggs or whatever else, and Hong Kong Island looks like it's going to be a great dense environment to drive through, and I'm curious if these secret areas will have any sort of gameplay benefit. Like perhaps they work as shortcuts, or maybe car wrecks can be found in some of them. Either way, more reasons to explore is always nice for me. Of course, that's not really competitively focused, but what is the instant challenge feature. This is also a large part of what we see in the trailer. Other games do have features similar to this, but Solar Crown is, I think, putting on a very cool twist here. Naturally, like you'd probably expect from any other open world instant PvP race, this lets you challenge other players in the open world to sort of randomly generated impromptu street races, which is great and plays into the clan rivalry system really well, because, well, it looks like you can challenge anyone in your clan or not. Specifically challenging rival clan members will increase your own personal clan rank. So there is good motivation to search out and battle rivals, which could help to fuel a really interesting open world experience. Now, you can of course turn these challenges down individually or even turn the feature off entirely if you want, but that does come with a hit to your clan's influence. So what we're seeing here is, to me, very good game design philosophy. Multiple gameplay elements that are linked together and working to support each other and offer meaningful decisions. The clan influence system is driving motivation to engage in PvP, which improves the open world experience and gives players motivation to interact with and race each other. And we haven't even talked about the betting system yet, which I think is the best part of this. It looks like players will have the option to configure their default betting profile to set the amount of money they want to stake for challenges. And if I'm reading this right, which I hope I am, you will lose that money if you lose the race. which in my eyes is absolutely a positive. Again, it comes back to motivation. If there's something to lose, that race just became way more interesting, and now it matters. So I'm loving this idea. The gameplay possibilities here of just being an open world street racer for your clan and hunting down rival players for challenges in order to win huge pots of money and influence, that's awesome. I love the concept, and I really hope it delivers. Now, obviously, we're going to have a lot more reasons to log on and earn money and influence, and these live events are looking pretty cool too. So these are going to be kind of the constant gameplay flow element to keep you coming back day after day. And we've got 3 different categories. There's lifestyle battles, which we actually, I think, saw in some footage a while back, and these leaderboards sort of exist outside of racing, where clans will be battling to do things like gain or spend the most money, rack up the most Frim coins, or win the most head-to-head battles. And then it looks like every day, a randomly chosen time attack event will become either a hotheads event or a high-stakes event. The Hotheads races spin up a new leaderboard that awards credits based on your finishing position, and oh man do I like the sound of that. I'm a huge sucker for climbing leaderboards and having a fresh new board to compete on every day with credit payouts based on your performance is a dream come true to me. But then we also have the high-stakes events, which bring back that element of risk. In these, players will have to pay an entry fee and then get 3 attempts only to beat a set time on that layout. And then when the event ends, the overall entry fee pot is split among everyone who managed to beat that time. Such a cool twist on a simple time trial, and yet again is just showing off how a lot of these gameplay systems matter and have real risk and reward. Of course, though, the bread and butter of racing games is, well, the racing. And we've got a lot of new info here too. Right off the bat, this newsletter states that racing will be primarily multiplayer, with AI drivers only filling out the grid as needed. Of course, races will be sorted by things like car class, but they also state that each race can have up to 3 restrictions. For example, a 2010 or older front-wheel drive supercar. Not really sure if something like that exists, but hey, you get the idea. And the more motivation players have to build out and use a wider garage variety, the better. We've got our standard circuit races, point-to-point sprints, and solo time attacks, but then there's also a unique domination mode that scores players based on their position at each checkpoint. So it's not just about being first place right at the end of the race, you want to be first throughout most of the race, or you could even still win if you don't finish first, but were first for maybe the first half of the race. How many times can I say first in one sentence? But again, this seems really cool. It's just another unique shakeup to a pretty simple racing format. They end this section then by also teasing that more race modes are planned post-launch. Now, of course, racing is a competition, and Solar Crown seems to understand that, because we are getting a seemingly very well-featured ranked mode with competitive leagues and seasons. At level 20, you get access to Solar Crown competition races, which are randomly selected to encourage gameplay variety and ensure that you can drive well in any situation. These are ranked races where your finishing position affects your league rating, and where you'll be able to work your way from bronze rank up through 4 other levels, each with rewards, to hopefully arrive in the Solar Court. And then at the end of each season, the highest rated driver in the Solar Court is crowned the Solar King or Queen. Now, if you are good enough to make it into the Solar Court, you'll be gifted an exclusive car as well at the end of the season. This is all really just exactly what I want from a game like this. I know I keep coming back to it, but I love how much Solar Crown is really driving home the motivation to compete and improve, with leaderboards and ranks to climb with skill-based rewards. I love it, and I really hope it does work as well as it sounds. I hope that those exclusive Solar Court cars are rare and hard to get and have a presence when they're seen on the road. Because I think that having something like that as a goal to shoot for, and then being able to flaunt it and showing off when you've earned it, is such a fun part of that competitive experience. And with that, we have kind of covered all the competitive bits of this newsletter, but they actually go on to describe upgrades and car customization in some greater detail. And if you've noticed, the trailer showed off a lot of that as well. So we'll slow this bit down here to make sure you can get a good look at each screen. The newsletter starts off by talking about assists, and we've got all the good standard bits here: ABS, traction control, driving lines, and manual versus auto shifting. Nothing too out of the ordinary, but it's nice to see confirmation on these, and they're not all just on-off switches. Both ABS and traction control are adjustable sliders from full off at 0 to fully on at 100%. So players will have pretty granular control of their assist level, which is always a plus. And it's also worth pointing out that your assist level will affect your credit payouts. Now, the blog post goes on to describe how you can build your car to improve its class and focus on handling or top speed by upgrading parts and all that. But they also cover an all-new and pretty unique tuning system. It looks like each car will have 4 preset tuning modes: the stock mode, and then 3 tuning presets from any of these options that I'm showing on screen here. And there's some things I like about this, but also something I'm not so sure about. For the good, it looks like this could be a way to keep road cars, and off-road cars, off-road cars. I usually do advocate for full building freedom, but I also do think a Corvette shouldn't necessarily make for a good rally car. And I'm guessing in Solar Crown, a car like that wouldn't have any of these off-road tuning modes. And that might help to make cars feel more like purpose-built machines. Now, they do say that these are just presets, and that more experienced players can customize and set up their own modes, but I don't think we've really seen anything about that yet. So I'm very curious how that might work to give these cars even more detailed customization. And that just about wraps up the whole newsletter. And I've got to say, I think this one might just be the best yet. I've been so nervous to get excited for this game. I mean, I absolutely adored TDU 1 and 2. I still play them both to this day, and this is a new game over a decade later, going in a sort of new direction under new leadership. But more and more, it seems like we're seeing them make good improvements and innovations where they should, while also keeping the heart of TDU very much alive through things like the exploration and car wrecks, roleplay features, and Frim system. So I'm still really looking forward to this. I think the competitive side of TDU Solar Crown is looking and sounding great so far, and I just can't wait to experience more of what this game has to offer. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.